What's up, family? It's your favorite realtor, Earl, realtor with the Bell Tower Real Estate team of eXp Realty. On today's show, my special guest is none other than realtor, philanthropist, investor, and restaurant owner of Bay Haven Grille, located in York County, Virginia, Mr. Collin McDowell. Collin, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? Good to see you, as always.
Yes,
This is
sir.
going to be a fun chat.
Yes, sir, man. I'm always, always thankful when I have, time to sit down and chat with, people I've known for years like yourself, especially doing so many big things in and around the community. It's always a pleasure.
Dude, look at you. You've been turning it up since I met you. You started in real estate with me, some years ago. And look at you, team lead out here doing your business, taking care of your kids, man, and not aging a bit. Like on top of that, let's make sure that's well known.
Hey, man, I'm gonna say it's the CMOS.
There you go, Dr. Sebi rules there.
That's it, man. That's it. Just trying to keep it moving along. You know how it works.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, man. So yeah, Collin, if you don't mind, man, the people that don't know, tell them a little bit about you.
Okay. Cliff's Notes version. I will say quickly, I'm from Hampton Roads. I was born on Langley Air Force Base. My dad was military, Vietnam War vet. My mom's from New York. Dad's from Georgia. Mom met and dad met when my mom went to college to get her master's degree at William and Mary, and she became a school teacher. So I grew up right here in Newport News in York County, Virginia, and stayed here most of my life. I traveled, obviously, being in the military, and obviously after school I ended up living in LA, moved back here and got into real estate just in about 1 month before the bomb dropped in 2008, which everybody knows was horrible. But I learned trial by fire in a new business and being very young. And I've been fortunate enough that it rolled me into eventually owning 4 different businesses within real estate. And I was partners with a few folks and did really well there. Eventually sold off a couple of years ago, kept my real estate business and just moved it to eXp Realty, which you and I both know where we're at with that. And then, right in that, I started a title company with some folks, and then this restaurant opportunity hit me over Facebook, and I saw a community that needed to save the restaurant. So I decided, all right, I know the community. I'm 3 miles away. I've lived in it, grown up in it. I get why they want it. So I ended up partaking with a business partner of mine, and we ended up buying this nice restaurant, Bay Haven Grille. And that was about a year ago now. So it's been a lot of fun.
Gotcha. Like I said, definitely a honored, cherished, well-decorated career with more to come in the future. But, if you don't mind, describe Bay Haven Grille for us.
It's a scratch kitchen. The original owners made, all the recipes themselves and would go in and prep all the food. So when you say scratch kitchen, it means majority of the items that you're going to eat on the menu are not frozen in a bag and brought in and just thrown on a grill or in a microwave. We actually only have I think 3 or 4 total items, and that's the French fries, the mozzarella sticks, tortilla chips we actually fry up daily. But most of it is literally all scratch made, from the beef, hamburger patties to everything. They hand make them all and cook them all to order. So it's a unique little spot. It's a bar/restaurant. But it's a great local spot. It's kind of like the little Cheers of York County. Like, everybody's known it. It's been around now 18 years. I've only owned it a year, but it's like a well-established, cool little spot. You can go play pool, listen to live music, watch your football games. It's just that community center and that hub.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, I've ventured there myself a few times. We
have some fun.
Really appreciate it. We had a good time, man. Like I said, you can really feel the community, really in the building the whole time that you're there. Like I said, it feels like a local, your local spot. Like a local Cheers.
Definitely.
Right here in York County. What would you say, Collin? What made you, I know you said you saw it on Facebook and you kind of reached out, but what made you decide, okay, I'm going to take a step from real estate and everything else that you've been doing with that, building your career, to hop into the restaurant business?
Well, I mean, I still do real estate full time. So I had to figure out kind of how I was going to do this, knowing that I wasn't, an expert in owning a restaurant, never owned one before, and how that was going to go. But being a partner and owning businesses, you kind of learn throughout the years that it's all about the people that you hire and put into place, the talent and the skill set that know that job and know that role. What really got me more interested in it was kind of the outcry I saw on Facebook from community members of like worrying about if it was going to shut down completely. If it got sold, it got changed to something completely different out of the norm for what they were comfortable with. And that spoke to me because, to me, I'm always about solving problems. You know me well. I love helping people out and kind of giving away, shared experiences, things that I've learned to help people grow. And one of these circumstances, like, I'm about community and about helping out, whether it be, through the nonprofits I work for or just in a day-to-day life. So I felt this was another way for me to kind of work with my business partner, because that's something she's about as well, to kind of just hone in, own this thing, save it, and give people what they were asking for. And this kind of just goes back to that old listen. Like if you just listen to people and what they really want, you try to stand on it and deliver the best way you can. And that's something that speaks to me all the time. So definitely, the restaurant wasn't like, hey, let's go make a ton of money, or like it's just another business in the pipeline. It was more of again, I really heard the outcry. And again, I live in York County. So the last thing I want to do is sell real estate, do this stuff. And, I can have fun in those businesses, but this is a different thing. Like I get to sit down, hang out with people like I did with you, and get to hear their stories, meet new people, and share that sense of community in a different way. And so that's been more or less in the long-winded version of why I did it.
Yeah, no, like I said, I know the people, the people in that area greatly appreciate what you've done by saving that, hopping in and, kind of pulling it up, giving it your, you and your partner's twist, as well as keeping some of the, the good old favorites, that they like to enjoy it as well.
Yeah.
In doing all of that, like I said, with your restaurant and, in your business and real estate, in many different facets, as well as nonprofits, and, it's a lot of moving pieces.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is one of the main things that help motivate you or drives you to do what you do?
It's people. I mean, at the end of the day, we live in a weird world, and I think every generation can kind of say that in a way that everybody can get into the argument of, well, my generation had it harder kind of argument. Right. But being a father myself and a husband, and kind of always going with the adage, I want to leave the world a better place than what I found it. Really, that comes down to people. It's like, being involved with people, having real honest conversations, not being judgmental, and kind of being open-minded to learning and sharing our experiences with each other, and finding a space where we can do that in that feels healthy and feels safe is, honestly, the thing that speaks to me and motivates me. So kind of to the restaurant, when you go into a restaurant or a bar, you get to know the bartenders and the waitresses, and you get to become friends with them, and you start talking to them about everything. They almost kind of like in real estate with us, we become your friend, your psychologist, your recommender of a car person. Like you really get that sense of relationship, and through a good relationship and through talking with each other, I think you can kind of do anything and elevate anything, anywhere, and do more and more good for folks if you actually just kind of have that kind of genuine, solid heart and foundation. So it motivates me that way. And I'm energized, as you know me very well, by helping other people out. Like when I see what I've given you as a piece of advice that I've already gone through the hard way, and it works for you, and you don't have to spend the money or have the pain, I'm energized, and I want to do more of it. And that's just kind of where I draw my energy from.
That's awesome, man. Like you say, if we had about 15 more you, dude, we might can really do something.
God. No, don't say that. My wife would disagree with you on that. And I'm sure my mom and plenty of people that would be like, nah, man, he goes way too much and too often. People get more concerned I'm a burnout than I do anything else, but I enjoy it, man. I really do.
Yes, sir, man. Like I said, I know you're always dropping gems, for everyone. Like I said, it's just all on how people, pick it up and run with it,
For sure.
Well, with the restaurant business in Bay Haven, what do you say is something most people don't know about the restaurant business that you learned?
What they don't know that I do like about the business?
Or that you learned as you became a restaurant owner?
I think the perception of like how to do things consistently in the food industry is something I wasn't aware of, walking into it. And I mean, I think now back to every experience I've ever had, whether it be fast food or a casual sit down or expensive dining experience, every time we go to eat that, we don't necessarily think, does it come out the exact same way every single time?
Right.
And we could even look at McDonald's, who pumps out more burgers than anybody. If you were to look at the commercial and then look at the burger you're eating, it's never coming out the same way every single
Not
time.
at all.
But yet people come, and there's a level of expectation that comes with that. And I actually think that gets harder when it's like a place like ours that's a scratch-made kitchen, because there's no way that it's going to be cooked exactly the same way. We do our best attempt. We put in process and procedures, but you could say, hey, I want a well-done burger, and the next person at your table says, I want a medium rare. That's already different, right? It's not like McDonald's. All the burgers come out the exact same way because they're in a microwave, right? So I think that was a lesson I learned very hard, and something that, has taught us a lot in the year, is like, how can we find systems to make it as consistent as possible, bearing we're a little bit different from these fast, get it out, low quality food areas. So that was a lesson that I learned in the process, because the importance of that in a space like this is hugely important to the community. That was one of the biggest talks that I had with most of the old what do you call it, community members that have been there forever and made that their restaurant, to the newer ones that have been indoctrinated there and keep coming in. And they were always sharing their feedback, which I enjoy, and that helps us get better. So that was one of the things I learned that I had no idea, like that difference between food expectations and consistency. So it was really cool.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can definitely understand that. Like you said, it's not like a McDonald's where they're just kind of printing burgers, and kicking them out. This is that more interpersonal experience, where really fine crafted, handcrafted from scratch food, So it plays a big part. And in doing all of that, how do you say you keep your staff motivated?
I mean, that's a good question, because when you look at it, like, I would use the term open door policy, which has some negative connotations to it now in the old corporate America. So when we look at it, we change it to more of just an open policy, which means for us, like, when you're talking to management, you're talking to owners, staff to the consumer, we're open to your ideas. We want to hear what your feedback is. We want to hear ways that you think we can improve or get better. So that's a top down, bottom up kind of transition. It puts everybody, no matter what your position, full-time, part-time, management, not, in a position to basically feel more valued, because you're now not just working for $1 or for your time. You're actually now involved in the business. And we want everybody to be involved, from the community to the staff, because when you do that, it's more fun. You can create a culture of a more familial culture where people could take honest feedback and not feel afraid to kind of share it with their coworker or with, their management staff. And so it not only kind of clears the air and takes the pressure out of it, but it gets the best out of everybody, because there's some unique ideas. Now, not all ideas work, as we know, or fit, but it's still good to kind of, again, goes back to that listening. If you're actively listening, you're really open to hearing those ideas, you're empowering people to grow. And that's what we want to see happen, not just for the restaurant, but the individuals in the restaurant or out of the restaurant. So that's been key for us as far as keeping them motivated, because they end up in turn motivating each other and us. So it's kind of a reciprocal kind of nature that we've created.
Gotcha. Yeah, and like you said, that open policy, like I said, it does so much. Like you said, it just continues to help you guys build a better brand and build the business better for the community as a whole. By accepting not only your your staff's feedback, but like you said, the community's feedback. That's awesome, man. That's really
well,
awesome.
But it also, in a turn, it creates a better relationship with your staff. Like, when the staff knows who the owners are at a different level, not just, hey, I see you worked 40 hours, you did a good job, and it's kind of robotic. You get more out of it, because there might be things that you don't know going on in your employees' lives that you could help out with. You could do something, to empower them or give them a gift that they may never have gotten in a normal corporate setting, right? Most owners at Pepsi have no idea what's going on at the bottom level, to their bottom line people. And that's, I think, a little bit of a disturbance and a disruption for really kind of grabbing a good culture and kind of, again, allowing people to grow in a better way. That's just our philosophy, at least.
Yeah, now, like you said, that creates an awesome culture. That's something that's absent from 95% of most businesses, in the world, I'd say, So, like I said, you guys are able to create that, man, is pretty awesome.
Cool.
And with being everything, with everything happening the way that it's happened, right? The way you came into the business, of course, you lived in the community, things of that nature, and you still live not that far. within the community now, or from the location of your business. What would you say, and we've probably echoed it quite a few times, but what would you say is one of the main reasons people should shop locally and help, support our local small businesses in the community?
Well, I mean, it's going direct to your community. Well, that's the first thing, because when you think about it, when you're supporting that, you're supporting your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your friends, your local family. The people that are actually in your community generally have jobs within that community, right? So you're not, when you're paying that business, you're supporting that business, and that's also supporting your local taxes that actually get paid to kind of help with the infrastructure in the local areas that you're looking at. Right. This is something politicians probably could do a better job of explaining where your tax money goes, because I know I've questioned that myself over the years. But more so, again, it's something that you can see, touch, and feel. How often can you see, touch, and feel the owner of Pepsi or the owner of McDonald's? You really can't. This is something that, again, you actually have much more of a stake and a part in, because it's in your community. So you could shift the tide very easily. So when you're supporting that, you're supporting your entire community when you support the local businesses. And that's, to me, it's nothing more important. Think how many of us started at a job that was at a local job. I know I did. I
Me
worked
too. Back home, I did the same thing.
My first job was locally here in York County at Joe and Mima's, and Joe and Mima's is still around. I was a bus boy in high school, 15 years old. Like, my first job was a local business. And for me, I'm ever grateful for that. So when I get to turn around now and years later, own a local one, I'm again now helping the next group of young kids that are getting their first job, or the adults that are this is their career and this is what they want to do with their lives, continue to kind of have a space that's their own. And to me, there's nothing better than that.
Man, I love it. I love it. You like it? I love it. It's great. Like you said, just that, that gift of reciprocity, always giving back. You know what I mean? Like, always giving back and helping with the community. Like you said, and building, amongst the community, we only continue to build and elevate each other,
Yeah.
So
but you know that all too well. I mean, come on, we did that back in the day. I had that open policy back then, right? That's how we developed our relationship, and it's just continued to grow ever since. No matter what we do, it's grown for you, it's grown for me, and there's nothing better for that.
Oh yeah, it's blossomed, man. Like you said, started off as a seed and grew into a tree. So and we continue to keep touching bases on that, every which way possible.
I want you to have your own show. I've been telling you that for years, ladies and gentlemen. Outside of the show, he needs to have another one with another friend of ours, Isaac. That's a mutual friend. That these two would be phenomenal together.
Yeah, man. We'll see how it works out. Like, we got some ideas in the works, some things cooking up on the back end in regards to podcasts and what have you. But we'll get it worked out.
Good.
So besides business, Collin, and running a restaurant and running your real estate business and things of that nature, along with your nonprofit work as well, what else do you enjoy doing?
Really just hanging out with my friends and family whenever I get time, watching some movies, reading some. I mean, just relaxing. I mean, the value of relaxing when you do a lot of things all the time is kind of, I guess, misunderstood. But if you could give me 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours where I could just sit around, hang out, have a good conversation, eat some food, relax, I just love doing that. The gambling that people do, poker, and all the other fun stuff that people enjoy, love it. But when you fill your days up with doing all the work, the last thing you want to do is kind of go out there and do it. Not to mean that if somebody, I want to feel a little froggy, want to go bowling with me or get a little putt-putt on, I might, bowl, you get a little putt-putt on. I don't know if I'll win, but, it'll be fun. Right.
Yeah, that's a good deal. I'm the same way, man. Like you said, just enjoying that time with family, being able to slow it down and, just sit back and smell the roses for a minute, fruits of the labor.
Well, but you got more kids than I got, so you got more men as brothers than what I got. I got two. So
I do.
I don't know how you do it. Maybe I should be asking you that question, because you got more in that range, and that's a bigger responsibility than all the stuff we're talking about, man. Is making sure they turn out right.
Man, I tell you what, we don't even have enough time for that show, so so we'll leave that right there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, Collin, man, what's the best way for people to get in contact with you, whether it's regards to Bayhaven Grille, your real estate, or just you in general?
Two of the best way. Well, I'll give you three of the best ways. I'm very personal, and I like to be, as you know, face to face as much as possible. Come see me in the restaurant. Come see me in my, in my real estate office. See me around town. Don't be afraid to say hi and have a conversation with me. Call me on my cell phone at 757-719-4445. Like a lot of people would tell me not to give it out, but it's out everywhere, and it's been everywhere for 15 years. So I don't mind getting those texts and those calls from even when I don't know you. I'll ask you, like, how do we meet? What do we know? And then we can have a good conversation. Or, you could hit me on Facebook or Instagram. And I'm not as active as most people are on that stuff anymore nowadays, but I do read it and I do pay attention to it. So, but I would say best way, come see me face to face or just give me a call would be the two best. But you can find me on social media, and I'm sure they'll see this on social media when you get done posting it and doing all what you're going to do, Earl. So they'll find me one way or the other.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They will, my friend. Collin, man, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, because I know it's a lot of moving pieces, to come hang out with me today and, answer a few questions and just kind of let the people get to know the man behind the, the man behind the wall, like Oz, the Wizard of Oz. That's him. This is him, people,
No, you can come see me anytime. You know that. That's one of those things that I've never hidden behind anything. I'd rather you be able to come see me and have a good conversation with me. So I appreciate you, brother, for calling me, asking to do this. Couldn't be more fun, obviously, because I know you, love you, and appreciate you. So look forward to everything you're doing, and really, guys, watch out for him. He's doing big things. Watch out for Earl.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate the love. I appreciate the time. And for more information on Mr. Collin McDowell and Bay Haven Grille, as well as his many other businesses, there will be a link below this, as well as a link to his brand new page here on our Park Bench site. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.